Welcome back to Shadow of the Colossus. But this time, things are a little different. As for the very first time we see that Wanda is not alone in searching for the resting place of Dormin, because here comes the mysterious masked figure that we saw at the very beginning of the game. And in the course of today's journey, we will be discussing exactly who they are and the implications for Wanda in terms of his quest. The couple of individuals surrounding Wanda has now moved into a huddle and now perhaps into a crowd as idol number 12 falls. And once again, Dormin speaks. Okay, so who exactly is that character that we saw approaching the Forbidden Land? The only thing we can really tell about him for sure is that he is the figure that appears at the very beginning of the game. If you remember, there's a little kind of voiceover and an explanation of the plot, and a bit that tells us that the girl is an innocent victim, sacrificed too soon, that Wanda has a dangerous quest, all that kind of stuff, and all of that is done by that figure in that mask. Now, it has been theorized on various forums and various websites that he could be Wanda's boss to an extent. Perhaps he is like the local shaman or the local kind of high priest. Perhaps he is the one responsible for locking away Dormin. Perhaps he is like a village elder or a village chief or something like that. But you can see from the mask, you can see from the clothes, and you can see from the way that all of those other soldiers were following him that this is a guy who is important. Now, perhaps Wanda is actually just another one of those soldiers, one of the people that used to kind of follow him around, perhaps, or perhaps Wanda is a member of that tribe. But what is clear is that character is following us, pursuing us, and knows why we are here, which have led some people to conclude that maybe he is the one responsible for the death of the girl. Now, I do have to confess, as we're watching this little ride across the landscape, I had to edit a big chunk of this out because, quite frankly, I got lost. I went into a big forest thing, and then I was following the bright light, and the forest thing took me to one of the old Colossus, and it wasn't the right one, and I got thoroughly grumpy, so I've edited all that big chunk out, but I will continue to talk about this character while we are battling our 13th Colossus. But speaking of our 13th Colossus, here he is. Like a swirling DNA helix or a microscopic microbe, this colossal Colossus soars into the sky. This one bordering on the spectacular, perhaps, rather than the terrifying. It almost looks like a piece of sea algae, but unfortunately it's gigantic and above us rather than floating below us. Well, we've still got aggro, and I think every time they've left us with aggro so far, we have needed him in some way, so let's assume we have to stay on him until told otherwise. There's not really any buildings around. There's this little kind of archway here and then a few mounds, but they don't look climbable, and they certainly don't seem to be kind of drawing my attention to them. So I'm going to assume, at least in the first part, that I just need to focus on the Colossus, but there's no way I can reach that. The sword is just telling me that the target is the Colossus itself. It doesn't seem to be drawing me towards, particularly towards one end or the other. That wonderful burnt out sky I was talking about in the previous video very much coming to the fore there. Oh, there you go. I hit something. I don't know if that was just because I was aiming at him or whether I hit a certain part. I think those white things are kind of disappearing. Yeah, I think there were a few of those white things, and now there's only one. But what I don't know is if that's just if they burst because you hit the white thing, or because they just by hitting the character itself. I wonder if he's I think he's floating lower in the sky now, so maybe the white things are kind of what's keeping him up, because he has got kind of wings at the front, but they're not like huge bird wings. They're not big enough to keep him up. So maybe it is these kind of. Oh, there we go. Did I get it? Kind of balloons, I guess, but not. They're kind of too baggy to be a balloon. Almost like a kind of more like a hot air balloon, like a kind of gas-filled thing. Either way, I guess it has burst and the music has changed, so I guess we have reached the next stage of this Colossus. And there's a rock. Brilliant. That's still far too high for me to grab, unless I'm supposed to go up on something else. Oh, hang on, look, the wings are on the ground. The wings are on the ground. I know there's little ridges on them. I wonder if that is grabbable. I don't fancy a leap off the horse, but mid-air plunge? Oh, I got it! I couldn't see a thing. All I could see was rubble and sand, but we are up on it. Okay, well, up we go. That's too high for me to leap over. Whoa, 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 the wings are moving. And we're going up. But that probably means I can now stand and maybe jump. Ah! Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so we're on it. Let's get the sword, which will hopefully make the sigil glow. In fact, I'm right next to it. Here we are. I wonder if there will be more than one of these. I can't imagine that was the whole Colossus, because that wasn't particularly hard. And of course the sigil has now gone. Right, let's go hunting for another one. I guess we'll try the head first. Whoa, 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 whoa! That was cool! Do a barrel roll! I can't see anything up that end. I mean, there doesn't really look like a head, it's just kind of a point. So let's try the other way. This is a huge Colossus. Oh, in fact, there is another kind of area that looks a little bit like... Ow! What the... What? Ow! I don't really know what that was. It almost like a little hand came down over the sigil, and the music's changed, and oh dear, we're going down, we're going down, we're going down! Ow! And poor Agra got taken out by that thing as well. You went up there as well, were you, boy? Well, I guess that answers that question about whether that's it. I guess I have to bring that thing down a few times. Because I think I haven't taken out half the health yet, so there must be more than one sigil remaining, assuming that it's the same. So back to our little mystery entrant, or the the person following us. Now, one of the most popular theories is around that he is in some way kind of in charge of religion in some sort of tribe somewhere. He is very well aware of who Dormin is. He's told the legends of who Dormin is about. He knows that Dormin is a terrifying creature that can control death. And the popular theories goes that Wanda either works for him or is related to him or is a friend of him, and then something happens. Of course, what isn't clear is why on earth this poor girl gets killed and what happens to her and why, and is she sacrificed by him, by Wanda? Is it, a complete accident? Who knows? But either way, Wanda goes after the Forbidden Lands and goes to awaken Dormin. Our mysterious masked figure, whose name is Lord Emon, clearly a terrifying name, realizes that Wanda has gone, and more importantly, he knows why Wanda has gone, because Lord Emon is the one that has the sword. If you remember when we first reached Dormin, Dormin actually sends some shadowy figures to just kind of kill Wanda and get rid of him until Wanda draws that sword, the ancient sword, and that's the thing that makes Dormin go, hang on a minute, whoa, this guy is something special. This guy could actually be the one that frees me from my prison. And that then brings us to the conclusion that whoever Lord Emon is and wherever Wanda comes from, they were the ones with the sword, which means they were the ones that locked Dormin away. So perhaps Lord Emon is either like the gatekeeper, if you like, or the keymaster, to quote Ghostbusters in some way, the one in charge of keeping Dormin sealed away, and Wanda has wrecked that by stealing the ancient sword and returning to this land. So you can understand, if that is the case, why Lord Emon, and I almost went under the whole creature there, why Lord Emon would be quickly in pursuit. He knows that he needs to get here before Wanda can finally take out all of 16 idols to free Dormin, and he's brought an army as well, albeit a small one, and a nice little leap onto the back of the creature, and that's the one I've already done. What? Almost died. So therefore we can kind of deduce that Lord Emon's role, his motive, is to get here and to stop us from releasing Dormin, even if that is done for a good reason. So that makes us wonder, is Lord Emon supposed to be a good character or a bad character? He's certainly a rival to Wanda, and if we're playing as Wanda, that means he is a rival to us. It adds urgency to Wanda's quest, because he needs to try and defeat all 16 of the Colossi before Lord Emon gets there. But once again, it raises those questions about whether we are doing a good thing or a bad thing, because if there is an entire army or a religious chief put in place to keep this dormant creature locked away, then there must be a good reason. I'm assuming that the next one is under this little flap thing, but it's shut again, so that probably means it's going to take me down yet one more time. I just need to try and not get killed as we hit the ground. And with a nice little splat, I think we're there. Yes, hello aggro. Now if I use the follow, the look at Colossus button, like that, we can try and work out where the Colossus is going to come up again, because I think that time I managed to shoot it a couple of times as it was rising out of the ground. So if I just keep holding down L1, and that will keep me directing towards where it's likely to come up, although it might not be anywhere near me, but it certainly is going to be this way. In fact, there it is, starting to come out, so let's get the bow. See if we can take some of these down before it gets too high, or perhaps I'm just a really, really bad shot. One of the two things is true. Yeah, I've got that one. In fact, so there's a big kind of puff of gas which comes out of that, which implies that there's some sort of like lighter than air gas there, you know, so a bit like helium, except of course helium isn't black. But it's cool, over the last couple of Colossi we've had some real kind of variety in terms of the battle. The last one was kind of more of a puzzly one, and this one is I don't know, there's something sad about this one, isn't there? It's just kind of floating around above us, and in fact, actually thinking about it, it hasn't attacked us at all. There's been no kind of projectiles being lobbed at us when we got on its back. It hasn't tried to chop us with anything. Effectively, we're trying to kill a peaceful creature. So maybe Lord Emon should hurry up and get here before we do any more damage. Let's see if we can get that one. Come on. I can't quite work out the kind of bullet drop off here. I guess I've been playing too much Battlefield and stuff like that, but I'm kind of aiming where I would aim with a sniper rifle, and clearly the bow doesn't work in quite the same way. But when the arrow flies away, it looks like the arrow takes time to get there, but it doesn't necessarily look like the arrow is dropping in height. There we go, there's our front one. And once more, this beautiful, peaceful creature is brought to the ground. I suppose using this kind of idea, you could make a kind of an interesting, there we go, kind of a utilitarian argument against what Wander is doing. Effectively, to save one life, he's destroying at least 16. Potentially his own, which is 17, and whatever. There must be a reason why Lord Emon and the other guys are scared of Dormin, so potentially by releasing Dormin we could be wrecking a lot more lives than just the people that we can see in the game. And the utilitarian argument always goes about the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. Star Trek borrowed a variation of it for Wrath of Khan and things like that, and certainly what we are doing here is not going to be benefiting the needs of the many, but we are Wander is so passionate about this mono girl that he is willing to put the needs of the one above the needs of himself, above the needs of all 16 Colossi, and he's clearly unconcerned about any of the wider effects of releasing the Dormin creature to the world. But hopefully now, with a final blow, this creature's suffering is brought to an end. And as it screams, I must say the only emotion I'm feeling a little bit now is guilt. Well, if you have enjoyed feeling gloomy with me today, then do give the video a like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then please do so. 3 Colossi remain, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.